Hey everybody, I'm just going to go through the pre-assessment that you took in class today, just to make sure that you have those correct answers. I know sometimes whenever I turn something in, I like to receive feedback on what I missed, what I got correct. So this is just going to go through all 5 of the questions, and that way you have that to compare to what you submitted, which will be released through Mastery Connect. So for the first one, we are looking at some graphical characteristics. So for our first graph, you'll notice we have a straight line that is going through the origin. It is a straight line because it has a constant rate of change. Well, if a line has a constant rate of change, it is considered to be linear. Over here, this graph is, whenever we are reading a graph, we have to go from the left to the right. So going from the left to the right, it's going up, which means it is increasing. It's linear. And then also, since it is linear and it goes to the origin, that means it is proportional. Don't forget, in order to be proportional, 2 things must happen. It has to have a constant rate of change, and it must go through or start at the origin. Graph number 2, you'll notice going from left to right. First of all, this graph is going down. It's decreasing, but then all of a sudden it's going back up. Now it's increasing. So this graph is both increasing and decreasing. It does not have a constant rate of change because it's not a straight line. Therefore, it is nonlinear. And since it's not linear, it cannot be proportional. So it is non-proportional. Graph number 3, going from left to right, this line is going down. So it is decreasing. It is not in a straight line. It does not have a constant rate of change. Therefore, it is nonlinear. And if it's nonlinear, then it cannot be proportional. So it is non-proportional. So those were the graphical characteristics. For the rest of the questions, 2 through 5, I'm actually moving over to a different document where I can actually write out these answers for y'all. So question number 2, we wanted to solve for m. Whenever we are trying to solve for a variable, we're wanting to isolate our variable. Our goal is to get that variable by itself. And we'll be doing that with inverse operations. And we're essentially doing order of operations in opposite order. So normally we would do parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, addition and subtraction in this order. But whenever we're solving, we're actually going in the opposite order. So we're doing addition and subtracting first, multiplication and division next, any exponents, and then any parentheses. That's whenever we are solving. Okay, so with that being said, the first thing we want to get rid of is any addition or subtraction. So I'm going to start on the side with the variable, which is the right, and I want to get rid of this -2. To do that, I'm going to use inverse operations and add 2 to both sides of the equal sign. So I've got 15 is equal to 5m. Now that there's no addition or subtraction left, I'm ready to look at any multiplication or division. That 5 is next to the m. Any number next to a variable is multiplication. So the inverse of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides of the equal sign by 5, to which 15 divided by 5 is 3. 5m divided by 5 is just m, so m is equal to 3. Okay, I'm going to go through the next one a little bit quicker now. So our number 3, I think it was this one. My variable's on the left, so I want to isolate my variable. I'm going to start with the fact that I've got a +4 out here in front. There's nothing in front of it, so it's positive. Inverse operations is to subtract 4 from both sides, and that leaves me with the -3y is equal to 27. This is multiplication whenever I have a number next to a variable. So the inverse of multiplying by -3 is to divide by -3. Dividing both sides by -3, I get y is equal to -9. Okay, the next one is a little tricky for y'all. You may have not seen this before. We have variables on both sides of our equal sign. And so we need to fix that. We want variables all on one side, and we want our numbers all on the other. I typically move the one that has a smaller value. So in order to get all of my variables on one side, I'm actually going to use inverse operations to move this one over here. So the opposite of -4x is to add 4x to both sides of the equal sign. So then now I have 13 is equal to 1, and then -1x plus 4x is a +3x. Okay. Just like how I move my variables to one side, now I want to move my integers to the other side. So to get rid of this positive one, I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides of the equal sign. So I've got 12 is equal to 3x. And then now it's a matter of just our simple solving. The inverse of times 3 is to divide by 3, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. Okay, that was a lot. Last one, solve and graph an inequality. So this is, you should be familiar with this from 7th grade. Please know that on this one, the answer key was wrong. So you may have gotten this one right and it counts it wrong, but all that matters is your answer. And I promise you, we look at that. We don't just look at your grade. So don't stress over it, but know that the answer key in Mastery Connect was wrong. So when you get your answers back, you may be a little confused, but that's why. So I've got my 5 minus 2x is greater than or equal to 11. I'm going to start by subtracting 5 from both sides of the equal sign. And I've got negative 2x is greater than or equal to 6. Next, I have to divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. Anytime you divide by a negative, you've got to flip that inequality sign. So x is less than or equal to negative 3. So I'm going to make my circle at negative 3. Since it has the or equals to, I'm going to fill it in. And then I'm pointing my arrow to the left because we want less than. And the answer key, I accidentally went to the right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. But this is the actual correct answer. Okay, so that was just a video going through your pre-assessment, to which we'll be sharing your answers with you through Mastery Connect. I'll try to explain how to access them